What's up everyone, Coach Paul here, and I'm going to break down why you might not be building the muscle that you want to be building and why you might feel like you're spinning your wheels. And there's a term in training, weightlifting, bodybuilding, whatever you want to call it, called rate limiters. And all that basically means is things that are preventing you from actually getting to muscle failure. So I'm going to break down 5 pretty common ones that we see. The first one is just going to be mobility. So this is the joint's inability to move through a full range of motion. So if I can't get overhead in a shoulder press, or maybe I can't get into a full squat because my ankles, my knees, my hips don't let me do that, well, you're not actually challenging the muscle, you're challenging the end of that range, and you're not actually able to get there. So you might have the strength to do 30, 40, 50 pounds in a shoulder press, but your shoulders won't let you get there. So it's either pain or mobility that says, I gotta stop, like I can't get there. And so you're actually losing the ability to get to muscle failure. Then we get over to cardio, and this is one that you see a ton in maybe CrossFit, circuit classes like Orange Theory Fitness, where yeah, you're running around, you're rowing, you're running, you're doing circuits, but the things that are causing you to actually need to stop isn't actually the muscles, maybe lunges, it's actually the heart rate, right? Your heart's just through the roof. And so it's actually one of your cardio systems that is really fatigued. You see this all the time in circuits where you're bench pressing, and then you're rowing, and then you're lunging, and you're never actually getting the muscles tired. You just need a breather because you're out of breath. And so cardio is another really common rate limiter where if you just slow down, give yourself 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 minutes rest, and as you do those big heavy sets, you could actually go heavier and get to that muscle failure we're talking about. Next one's gonna be grip. This one's super common, especially in rows. Anytime you're pulling something towards you, it could be a pull-up, it could be a single arm row with a kettlebell. If you don't have the grip strength to actually be able to get to the lat, get to whatever it is that you're working towards, eventually that grip's gonna go, and I see people get frustrated all the time. Maybe we're doing farmer carries, and oh, I'm not actually sore in my core, I'm just losing the grip, and that's where, we're talking about all these things. That's why you gotta work on mobility. You gotta make sure you have adequate cardio. You gotta make sure that your grip strength's really good. Next one, and this one's super big, and this actually leads to a lot of injuries too, is just gonna be core strength. Your ability to create intra-abdominal pressure and really brace with your core. You're gonna see this all the time in deadlifts, any kind of hinging motion, where you could be able to pull that weight off the floor, but your core is just not there. You don't have the strength there, and so you got to work on the core strength in order to get there with the deadlifts. And then last but not least, this one's so common. You see this all the time. People setting limits on themselves where they're like, oh yeah, that was good, that was hard, I'm tired, I can't do it anymore. But in reality, they're just setting a cap, right? They're just putting a little governor on what they think they're capable of doing. If they actually got a coach, or they were filming themselves, or they were working out in front of their crush or their best friend, they're trying to impress someone, you're actually going to see someone lift a lot more when they got something to prove, versus you can kind of let yourself slip. And so the mind is actually one of the biggest rate limiters of everything. And all in all, we're trying to get to that muscle failure. So that little analogy I like to think about this is, say you got 6 dogs and you're trying to feed old Sparky here, but he's the smallest of the other 5 dogs. All these dogs are gonna eat. Sparky's not gonna be able to get as much food as he possibly can. So you gotta create situations, and this can be in exercise selection, and making it so that these don't become factors. All right, it's like feeding Sparky on his own and putting the other 5 dogs outside so that you can actually get to growing what you want to grow. Muscle, build some muscle. So rate limiter, something to keep in mind when we're looking at developing and building muscle.